Hi, my name is Jackie Hernandez, and I'm the YA librarian here at the Hollywood Library. Welcome to our first ever Hollywood Teen Book Club. And for the Teen Book Club, pretty much we're gonna have an hour together. We're going to discuss the book that we read. In this case, our January book club selection. Whoop, the filter. Let me go ahead and take off my background filter so that I can show you the book without it blurring. So the book that we read this time for our January selection was Lunar New Year Love Story by Jean Wen Yang and Lu Yen Fan. This book was done in a graphic novel format and had very beautiful illustrations, and it was a very beautiful story. So let's get into it now. And I usually like to create. I'm going to share my screen with you because I like to create a PowerPoint um, presentation. In this case, I use Canva. And move that to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and go through it. All right, Teen Hollywood Book Club, THBC for short. All right, like we discussed, this is a January selection. Click away. All right, so I have like a loose agenda that I like to create for each of the book club meetings. We can totally like just go off topic. To me, I always think it's more important like the conversation that we have amongst each other, and I think it's much more interesting to like pick each other's brains and see what kind of connections different people, different readers need with the story. But in case it's always nice to have some icebreakers, or in case we have like a quieter crowd, we can stick to the agenda as well. We want to make this fun for you, so whatever works. So my loose agenda is I like to do a book overview where we'll talk about the main characters, the novel point of view, like how was the novel written, a few of the central themes of the book. Next is a category I like to call points of interest, which were just maybe things that we wanted to know more about or things that caught our interest, and that we want to explore more. I'm a very curious person, and usually, you're reading something and you may not be familiar with that tradition, with that word, with that experience. So you look it up and you try to find more information. And that's kind of what I did there. Next, it's a group discussion where ideally, like, we would talk amongst each other. There's some questions that I can ask, and then there's also a portion where we all vote individually and like, did you like it? Did you not like it? Would you recommend? And that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, let's get started. Book overview. All right, so this book was a story definitely about family, about generations, and about heartbreak. So Valentina is ready to give up on love. She starts to believe that she is much like her parents and that she is cursed in that department of love. But then she has an encounter with someone in the lion dancing suit, and she feels hopeful once again, but still uncertain, is she meant to find love, or is she destined to be like brokenhearted like her family? This novel was written in the person point of view. It uses the pronouns I, me, we, us in order to tell the narrator's story. It is a first person narrative, and that is usually it is the protagonist's experiences and their point of view that we're viewing the story through. In that case, we're viewing it through Valentina's point of view. The main characters that we encounter on the story are Valentina, of course, her dad, who lives with her. Her mom appears briefly, her grandmother appears, Jay, Les, and Bernice. These are all the characters that I really feel interact with Valentina the most, and are very well developed, I do think, in this graphic novel. The themes of this novel were love, friendship, family and culture, parental loss, And the big one for me is growing up. I think this book handled the theme of growing up beautifully and very realistically. So, points of interest, aka things I wanted to know more about. Let me know if these are also the things that you caught your interest and you wanted to know more about. Or, at this point, I would also want to hear if there was anything what caught your interest. Maybe what stood out to us was were not the same things, and that's great. And we can have a conversation about that. So something that, of course, this centers on love. On Valentine's Day, Saint Valentine is a character that comes up in this book. At first, when she is young and hopeful, he is presented like in the image of a cherub, of a beautiful, cute little squishy baby with angel wings, right? We are all familiar with that image. But later, as she grows up and as her idea of love starts to fade and she gets pessimistic, the character becomes more like a ghost, more like a demon, more like just it's really scary. But I think it does a really good job of illustrating just how it went from bubbly and light and believing in love to like jaded and uncertain and not really sure. So, Saint Valentine was the name of one of two legendary martyrs whose lives seem to have a historical basis. One of them is the patron saint of lovers, people with epilepsy, and beekeepers. That's so random. His skull is on display in a glass in the Basilica di Santa Maria in Rome, a shoulder blade house at the Basilica of SS. Yikes. They have a shoulder blade house there. So not only do they have this decorated live human, I mean, not live, he's dead, but like used to be a live human skull here that is just very macabre. They also have more body parts of this person. So, that's very, very effing dark. And we're teenagers. I mean, we're young adults, so I think we can use abbreviated that language, or if you want to speak in that way, that's fine. Um, so yes, I think it looks kind of cool, kind of creepy, mostly creepy. So this is kind of like the image of the cherub that we see at the beginning of the book. And according to legend, Saint Valentine signed a letter from your Valentine to his jailer's daughter, whom he had befriended and healed from blindness. Another common legend states that he defied the emperor's orders and secretly married couples to spare the husbands from being conscripted to serve in war. I have heard different variations of these, so it is very interesting. Um, and that's just we I don't know we'll ever know. I don't think it was based like this Saint Valentine idea is maybe just put together like pieces here and there from these different stories that we've heard over time. But it does seem to be like one person, but many ideas influence that image that we have of Valentine's Day nowadays, if that makes sense. Okay, also happy Lunar New Year, everyone. So a Lunar New Year festival is typically celebrated in China and other Asian countries that begins the first new moon of the lunar calendar and ends on the first full moon of the lunar calendar, 15 days later. So this year we're going to be celebrating the year of the snake. There's a lot of colorful activities, and traditions that take place around this holiday. A big one is cleaning your house, giving envelope like the good luck money, envelopes with money inside, celebrating with family, food, and fireworks, dancing. And that is where we also see the lion dancing. Okay, lion dancing. I have never seen it in person, and I will show you a video shortly of a lion dancing performance. And I was actually really impressed by the just the costumes. The costumes are so intricate. And also with the agility and like athleticism of the dancers, impressive. So okay, let's take a look here. There's different types of lion dancing. So it does involve kung fu skills as well as dancing. Legend has it that the lion dancing originated in China during the Tang Dynasty when an emperor was troubled by a nightmare, which ended after he was saved by a rare and strange beast lion. So that is very cool. So it has deep historical ties to China. Now let's take a look at this dance. I thought it was so cool. Check it out. This is our group discussion portion of the meeting. So I would ask these questions, we would talk about it a bit, just to demonstrate. I'm going to go ahead and talk about these questions a bit, and then we'll be moving on. What did you like about Valentina? What did you learn about love from Valentina? What makes Valentina so resilient? I thought Valentina's resiliency was definitely shown in her character and how she handled difficult situations going on in her family life and in her personal life. She was going through difficulties when finding out the truth about her mother, which, oh my goodness, like what a shocking truth to learn, let alone as a young adult, while you're dealing with like growing up, relationships, friendship, friendships, love, romance, school, responsibilities. It's a lot on somebody's plate, but she, I think, dealt with things emotionally really, really maturely, and there were some difficult challenges that she faced. So I think she definitely demonstrated her resiliency in the way that she resolved her conflicts, even with her father. Things won't be the same, but I just feel like she was able to find some resolution with that her relationship with her grandmother improved. And in the end, as we saw, she stays with Jay. She ends up with Jay. So that's really cool. And she never gave up. She never gave up. Even though I feel like she kind of like didn't demonstrate or didn't display, her love of Valentine's Day or romance the way she did when she was in ninth grade. Like after she got embarrassed in class, she stopped giving out cards. I think she was still a believer. I think she was still a hopeless romantic, all the whole time through, even though it wasn't like outwardly as displayed as it first was. How did you initially feel about Les? How did Valentina and Jake complement each other? Les is like the obvious choice, the popular guy, the chatty, flirty one, cute, good looking. Everybody loves him. He loves everybody. That would be the problem as well. And that was the problem that Valentina encountered. He just seemed like such a people pleaser. Like he just wanted everyone to like him and to get along with everyone, so much so to the point where that caused problems. And he never really committed to anyone and the relationship status, like exclusivity. I think Valentina and Jay are like each other, and they're both very strong people. And a lot of their strength is shown through their silence, I guess. Strong silent types, and they ended up together, which was really nice. How would you describe Valentina's relationship with her father? How does that change when she learns the truth about her mother? What would your reaction have been? I just want to start by saying, what would my reaction have been? I was like so emotionally immature as a young adult, and anything that happened to me was a catastrophe. So I don't know how I would have recovered from finding out that my mother was not dead, but that she was alive and that she wasn't wanting to be in our family because their relationship didn't work out. I would be extremely hurt. So we, as a reader, we definitely feel so much for Valentina because this is such a heavy secret and such a life like impacting truth. um so like I said, like I really applaud how the character handled it. I was like, my life would have been over, but she went on. And yeah, that does change her relationship with her father. I think it kind of like takes him down from this pedestal and makes him seem like a real person, a flawed real person. And that's always part of growing up. It's like when we see our parents not as superheroes, but as regular, real human beings. Last question here. What does it mean to be estranged? How would you describe Valentina's relationship with her grandmother? To me, when you has an estranged relationship, it means that there's some kind of tension there, like it's not as easygoing. And usually that's the tension can be brought on by like a family problem. In this case, the grandmother knew about the mom, but the dad was lying. She might have not agreed with the dad. She wanted a relationship with her granddaughter, but could she? With these parameters that the dad set up, you know. So they didn't have the closest relationship because there were like these borders between them, the metaphorical, symbolical borders, you know, that they weren't being honest with each other. But once they were able to be honest with each other, that's when they take that trip to Rome. We see them really grow and learn to love each other a lot more honestly. All right, and so this portion, I would have everyone vote on whether or not they like the book. So I would go around and each person, since I'm the only one here, is I'm gonna do my vote. I liked it. Oh, thumbs up. Royal thumbs up. This book gets to live another day. No, I'm just kidding. I it just means I like highly recommend it. I think it was great. Thank you, everyone. And by that, I mean me, just kidding, for participating in this book club. I hope to see a lot more participants next time. And just to let you know, our next book club selection would be If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. This I enjoy, and I don't want to say too much. I want to talk to people about it. This book has as an older book that has had many reissues. And so the covers might look different. This is one of the newer ones. It's about Ellie and Maya who attend Percy Academy, a private school where neither quite fits in. Ellie is wrestling with family demons, and Maya is one of the few African American students at that school. The two of them find each other and fall in love, but they are hesitant to share their newfound happiness with their friends and families who will not understand. At the end, life makes a brutal decision for them. So put your copy on hold. Go ahead and check it out. Um, and I will see you guys on February 24th online at 6 p.m. As always, if you'd like me to send you the meeting link, please shoot me an email at Hollywood with one L, HOLYWD at lapl.org. Or if you just want to chat it up or you have some feedback for me, some possible reading suggestions, also send me an email. I definitely want to hear from you. And now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oops, oops. I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's go back to our meeting.